From Rixie, this is Debuff, and I'm your host, Steve Skeels. What's going on? Welcome back to Debuff. I'm joined by the boys as always.
What's up, boys?
And
What's up, guys?
I guess today we're starting off with a little story time. So, Sean, if you want
Yeah,
to kick us off.
what's happening right now in your world?
So I went outside to put the trash in the trash can through the garage. So keep the trash cans in the garage. And I was like, Peach, how did you get out of the house? Peach is the smallest of our three cats. And I was like trying to coax her out of underneath the car. And it was a different meow than Peach's meow. And out crawls another cat that I don't know whose cat it is. Yeah. I was like, wow.
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 I gave it some food. It was like starving. It wasn't super skinny or anything, so it's not like it'd been starving for days or anything, but ended up giving it food. It ate it all, gave it water. Didn't have any interest in that. But then we took it inside into the bathroom, and I've tried to find its owner now for the past
hour.
I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing here. But anyway,
Yeah,
I
it's kind of crazy.
yeah, I had a bird in the garage before. That was it. It had a tick on its eye. I took the tick off its eye, and
It flew away. You
I
released it back into the
put
wild.
it in a box and like with a little towel because it was cold. The next day he was gone, so I'm sure that bird's dead now. But
You seem
save
pretty
it.
bent up about it when you got here.
Well,
What were you feeling?
Because I feel like, what do you fucking do in this situation, right? Like people do
Yeah.
cat and animal and dog and rescue or whatever, but that's not my job.
You posted on what a Facebook page called Paw Boost.
Well, so I guess Paw Boost is some website where you can post information about a found or lost animal that posts to Facebook for you in whatever area you're located in. So I'm going viral now. Cats got 73 shares so far and 39 reacts. Dude.
Can you tell me some of the comments for the people?
Praying this pet will be reunited prayer hands with family soon, prayer hands. Fingers crossed. F
Fingers
F
crossed
in the
of-
chat for the cat.
Yeah.
F in chat.
Prayers, thank you for caring. Prayer hands, prayer hands, prayer hands, prayer hands, prayer hands, prayer hands. Great!
Great.
Exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point, all caps. Prayers that you find the owner. Prayer hands, prayer hands, prayer hands, prayer hands. Thank you for caring and helping this sweet kitty.
Honestly, that's pretty wild, and I don't know. I hope we find the owner,
Yeah. Well, its name is Sir Jeffers for now. That's
Sir Jeffers.
Little Bravest Warriors reference
Yeah.
for the fam. I don't know, man. I know it looks like it's not a stray. It's got a collar, but it is so weird because, like up the road at the Exxon, there was like a bunch of stray cats that would hang out, and one of the women that worked there would just like give it cat food or just set out cat food for the strays. And
yeah.
I feel like, I don't know, there's surprisingly a lot of cats that get loose around this area. So
The only thing that I really have for the discussion today is an update on my DS game playing. I don't know why I've had such an infatuation with playing the DS. I think a part of it is that I bought it in 2018, like November. I had just come off of like a busy season cycle, and I wanted to play Ocarina of Time, and I saw that it was on DS, and so I bought it, and it was the new 3DS XL.
Yeah.
Because there's like 40 different versions, and
oh yeah,
and so I think every time I get off cycle, which is every 2 years, I feel like I want to play it again because that's when I played it. And so at the end of this cycle, I picked it up again, and I started playing Pokemon Sun, and over the past, 2 or 3 months, I've just been like wanting to get games for it. And I feel like we're in this time where DS games are, as long as they're not like Pokemon and Mario games, they're like reasonably cheap,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, Nintendo games never go down.
I feel like the major titles, Super Mario and Pokemon, and I don't know, even maybe the Yoshi and Kirby games like stay pretty expensive, especially if you're getting them secondhand. But
I mean, so to me, the DS, like every iteration of it, for whatever reason, I've always found charming. So like, I mean, the Switch is portable, right? The Game Boy was portable,
yeah,
but the DS was a little bit more powerful than than the Game Boy was,
yeah.
and so. And you had two screens, which, the clamshell design was always really cool. I have a 2DS, which doesn't close, but
It's still really cool.
I mean, it's a really cool portable device that has a lot of good games on it. I mean, Steve, for when I got my DS, you got me Metroid: Samus Returns.
When is the first time? When did you guys get your first DSs?
Oh,
Do you remember
on
what year?
release? Yeah, on basically release was the first time I had
For
a DS.
Christmas.
Would it
Yeah.
have been 2005?
I mean,
When did the DS come out?
Because I know some of the first games I've found are 2005.
2004.
Okay, so
Yeah.
2004.
Yeah, we got them for Christmas with Mario 64 for DS and the demo of Metroid Prime Hunters that
Yeah.
was just multiplayer, and we spent probably hours just
and the
killing each
demo.
other.
Where did you get the demo?
It
just
came
came
with
with
the
it.
DS.
Oh, it was like on
pack
it.
in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, the DS was super cool though. I mean, we did was it PictoChat or what did we do?
Yeah,
yeah,
Picto
Yes,
Chat was the
there's
talking
Picto
thing.
Chat.
yeah. And so like Steve and I would like write notes for each other, or whatever.
Say bad words and stuff.
Yeah, draw stupid shit. I mean, it's just a cool little device. Like, I don't feel like Nintendo's like they took a risk there a little bit with launching a device that was kind of outside of the norm of what most handhelds were at the time. A single screen, couple of buttons. They had a clamshell design, number one. Number two screens, one with a touch screen and a stylus.
Yeah.
And the ability to play Game Boy games. Because they were like, when they had released it, we're like, we're not trying to replace the Game Boy line, right? That's kind of what they said.
Was the original DS, did those come with Game Boy Advance slots?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, see,
So
the newer ones don't have
Well,
those.
the
Well, they dropped-
3DS doesn't.
3DS
yeah,
does
they
not.
dropped it
Yeah.
at the 3DS
3DS,
line.
yeah.
Yeah.
Are you
'Cause
does
they-
the DSi Lite have it?
Yeah.
I
See,
think
'cause
the
I
D-
don't-
no, I think
I don't
the-
know if
the-
it has
No, the DSi doesn't.
Game Boy Advance.
The DSi does not.
Yeah, because I got some for my niece and nephew, and I don't think
It doesn't, but the DSi also came out like basically when the
No.
DS was dying.
No,
The Lite had a slot.
the DSi had a slot.
the
It just
DSi
stuck out.
Lite did not. Is the DSi and the DSi Lite, are they different?
Dude, I think
You
the
guys saw those DSi
I had a
Lites that I
DSi.
had.
The DSi does not have a slot. The Lite, just the Lite. I don't think there's a DSi Lite.
Oh,
There's
not.
a DS, DS Lite, DSi. The DSi had the camera.
And the DSi does
the
not
DS,
have.
has no
you're
slot.
right, Steve. You're
That-
right.
As I got one of those, it had like a web browser and had a shop, like first eShop thing, and then the 3DS came out like pretty soon after that because I remember trading in my DSi that I barely used
for the
for
3DS. Yeah, I think I said this to you 2 or 3 months ago when we did that chat about PS5, the UI design. I think the Nintendo DS, especially the XL, it felt like the predecessor to the Switch in that like it was portable. It had it had the buttons in the same layout. But I think it was kind of the stomping grounds for like maybe we need to instead of making a new console or making a new portable, like let's put them together.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Nintendo's always done well with the handheld line, but the Wii U was not very popular.
Yeah,
And-
well, it was so bulky.
Yeah, but I mean, that wasn't portable.
Yeah, you could play a game in your bathroom, right? But that
Did it have to
some
be
games-
plugged into the wall?
No, so the portable piece is a gamepad, right?
Yeah.
And it was wireless, but you had to be connected to the tower, the console, the Wii look and
Yeah,
piece.
so some games would let you play handheld only.
Handhold.
But some
handhold
games
only.
used it as a second screen, like the Wind Waker had that as like another menu, just
Wasn't
in
it like
your
a
hand
map?
all the time. Yeah, map or menu all the time. So you couldn't just put the game. As far as I know, some games
okay.
didn't let you use that. It was supposed to just be complimentary.
I
But
thought it was like it could be standalone.
only for some games could you even use that and just turn off your TV to play games. But you couldn't walk away from your house or whatever.
Do either of you watch Modern Vintage Gamer?
No.
Is he British?
He's definitely either New Zealand's or Australian
okay.
guy.
Yeah, I've seen some of his stuff.
He just uploaded a video the other day that I watched about how the graphics worked on the Nintendo DS.
Dude, I got recommended the same video. I didn't watch it, but
It's very good if you haven't watched it.
I'm
It's
gonna
just
watch
super
it now,
interesting.
especially.
It was kind of weird to me that one thing that stuck out to me about the video was they had he was explaining that only one of the two screens could be assigned the ability to render 3D graphics, but there was some weird code you could inject into a game that would switch every frame between the two screens of which one was rendering 3D versus 2D.
That's weird.
And you could basically render 3D on both screens at the same time by switching. A lot of the video was over my head, but it's really interesting to look at how the DS was able to pull off 3D because it did have the ability to do, right?
Yeah.
It didn't look great.
shitty.
Yeah,
It was
but
pixelated.
You had a lot of games that looked at the time
yeah, they're
fairly
good.
decent. Like
Honestly, I think Pokemon Sun and Moon look awesome.
Well,
they are definitely predecessors to
it's the same models.
Sword and Shield.
They use the
Yeah,
same models.
yeah.
But I will add, Sean, I feel like Mace, I feel like you combine the DS line as all one thing in your head when we talk about it.
Well,
Because the 3DS is definitely separate, where those look better than
they
like black
do.
and white.
Yeah,
on,
and that's the thing. I mean, a lot of those games that I bought this past week were DS. They were
yeah,
not 3DS
I know.
games.
But so Sean, you're talking about just the DS.
But you're saying the DS was only able to do one 3D and one flat 2D?
Yeah. So one
that's-
screen was the master and the other one was the other.
Yeah.
because I would imagine they fixed that for the
Yeah.
3DS because those games look.
But
much
even
better.
there, I don't even feel like you ever see like fully rendered graphics, and I don't know if you see both on them on both screens.
There's few games
Yeah.
that use them both as like.
I'm just saying there was a couple developers who figured out that trick. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, Mario, you're playing one and you're running around, and the other had a map of
Right.
the area, which was
Yeah.
2D. But how many layers are there? It's a super interesting video. Don't get me wrong.
I just feel like most
check
games
it out.
didn't use both screens to show you the game because it'd be weird to have the split thing just to elongate what you can see when you have to focus on one spot. So that probably
Yeah.
hardly came up unless there was
Yeah.
two things going on. But
Yeah. Well, so I've been playing one of the games that I bought, and today I've been playing True Swing Golf, so I started with Tiger Woods 05 or 06, I can't remember. And dude, it was really, really difficult. And I was like, I don't know if I want to play a game that's like extreme. So the way that you swing, you like take the stylus and you make like a U shape. And I felt like it was not super accurate, or
No.
I'm trash.
yeah, I mean both.
Which
maybe.
is probably both.
Yeah.
But then I picked up True Swing Golf as well, which was only $1.95, and I started playing that yesterday. Man, it's so much fun because it's actually it still has simulated like reasonably good physics, but it's a little bit more cartoony. But you can still line up shots the right way, and it shows you elevation. It actually gives you some pretty good like feedback for what you need. And I sent you guys a video.
Which, by the way,
Right.
comes in like terrible quality.
Oh, it
just to let
does?
You know, yeah.
Oh,
well, because we
of
both
course.
have Androids.
Yeah, it
so-
goes from iPhone. So sorry.
They hate us. No, I mean I will still watch it.
Yeah,
I,
I
could
put
tell
it
what
on.
was
I
going
put it on Twitter. I'm gonna play that on the podcast right now in the video version. So it's gonna cut to that. 152 yards. Holing out on True Swing Golf. Like a champ. Get out of here. That's an eagle. Hole number 1. Come on. Get in the hole, boys. And we're back. But, no, I've had a lot of fun with it. I've had a lot of fun. And I'm going to keep playing when you guys leave. And, yeah, I've really enjoyed it.
Well,
And I'm it's nice to get lost in a DS game.
I'm glad you are enjoying it.
That was
After you
$1.
bought all those games, and I was like, I wonder how many of them you're really gonna get into.
Yeah.
But you played that for a handful of hours today, so
I'm gonna keep going through the championship mode.
I do have one question, I guess, about it, because while you're talking about the shitty swinging controls, more so I feel like with the DS than the 3DS, but did you feel like a lot of the games had that gimmicky touchscreen stuff that sometimes was cool? And when we first got the DS, in 2004 or whatever, I thought it was tight. Games like Kirby Canvas Curse.
Yeah.
That's the one where
was
you
a
have to draw
favorite.
the yeah, dude. That was
You draw the path as he rolls through the level, and
Was it difficult?
that game was.
we think of
no.
Line Rider, but with Kirby essentially.
And he's
This-
just constantly moving. You move through the map, and you have to draw lines to do stuff. And
So you're saying that was gimmicky to you?
I still had a good time, but
Yeah.
there were so many of those games, and
I mean, look at Nintendogs, dude. We played the shit out of the game, but
Yeah.
now today, dude, like I would fucking lose my mind if I had to like scratch a pen on a fucking
Yes.
touchscreen to pet
Yes.
a dog. You
we're
know what I
also
mean?
older now, so I
My
feel like
hands
that
are
kind of
too
thing
big for that stylus,
well,
dude.
there are huge ones you can get that
Yeah, I
don't
need-
slide in, but
Yeah.
I just feel like, do you ever feel like that held back what they could have done? I mean, Nintendo always kind of does that, where they have something weird like the Wii's motion controls. They keep trying new stuff that sometimes works, but I feel like a lot of the best, even Wii or DS games, were ones that didn't really matter, didn't come into play much.
Well, I think two things. One, if it was released in 2004 was the PDA explosion, right? So
I mean,
PDAs, Blackberries, like a lot of these phones had styluses in them. And so I think A, they were jumping on that train, and B, they were, I mean, I wouldn't say like on the cutting edge, but I think that was the first console with a touchscreen.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's pretty cool. I mean, yes, I think some of them are gimmicky. I wish I could play some of these golf games with just the what's it
Circle
called?
pad.
Yeah, the joystick. But the thing is, this game was built for the DS, so you only had the
Yeah.
directional pads. But because I play Tiger Woods on Xbox 360, and you use the joystick. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I think a lot of games had to mold it
Yeah.
into the game, but I feel like it if you're looking at major titles, they're going to use it really well. The Marios, the Pokemon, So yeah, I think it's 50-50.
I just remember, like Super Mario 64 on the DS. We loved Mario 64. They changed it up,
Yeah.
but they had mini games you used the touchscreen for. Outside of that, you didn't really need it. But do you remember, Sean? They were like these thumb grips. Or I don't want to call it a grip, like a thumb stylus that had a strap that you would put on your thumb that you could use to touch.
Oh, really?
And there was an
Oh
option
my
to
God,
use
dude.
that to like as a joystick, basically, to
I
control
Can I
Mario.
Can I see that?
Because the only way to get
Like a
Mario
dagger.
to move more than 8 directions on the DS version is with
Wow.
this, not with that specifically, but using the touchscreen. And you're not going to sit there with the stylus in your left hand and try to control
Yeah.
them. So that thumb pad was the only way to basically get a real
It
joystick.
was really nice for Metroid Prime hunters.
Yeah, because that was the same where it was like shit to try to aim.
With the directional.
Yeah, because I
Yeah.
think you had,
The
since it was
D-pad.
a first-person shooter, you would use the D-pad and the buttons to try to like move and aim, right?
Oh, and you had to use the touchscreen too.
Well, you could use the
Yeah.
touchscreen to do, I think, either one that you wanted to.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
If I
I
recall.
will say this. When I play that golf game, I'm holding it with my left hand and I'm doing everything else with the stylus. And that's
Yeah.
that's getting kind of old.
Yeah.
I think I would rather sit at a table and
Well,
have it sitting on the table and use it? Because you barely use the A button.
so it's funny you say that. The one of the more popular 3DS games I wish I got around to playing is Kid Icarus Uprising, and that game literally came with a stand, so you could put your
Yeah.
3DS
Oh,
in,
really?
because the default control scheme was such a bitch to try to do without having something to put it down on.
Was it meant to use the stylus? So that's why it had the
Yeah,
kickstand?
I never played it. I don't know
Okay.
exactly what it was, but I think it was, yeah, you had to use buttons and the touchscreen, so
Wow.
it was really hard to do if you're just trying to hold it.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah, that's great. I think Metal Jesus Rocks did a video about that. I feel like I've heard of that, but that to me is way too much. That is something like, to me, that doesn't make sense. Like, unless that Kid Icarus game is amazing, which I've heard Kid Icarus
yeah.
games are pretty good.
Well,
Like,
there's like
that
two
seems
of them,
like an extra, nonsensical item. But talking about nonsensical accessories, I have a cartridge-only copy of Guitar Hero, like on tour decades for DS.
Why?
you need the
do
like
you own
plug-in
that?
thing for the Game Boy Advance cartridge, I think, right?
Yes, and
Yeah.
well, so I bought this huge lot of games on Facebook
Right.
Marketplace. It was like $4 or $5 a game, and some of the games were good, some of them were throwaways, but it came with that, and you can't even turn the game on, or you can't play the game at all. It's like you got to plug in the thing, and I would like to get that accessory to see if it's any good, because that thing you showed me kind of looked like a guitar pick, like
Yeah.
the thumb thing, and that's what you get. You get like a guitar pick stylus for the
Yeah.
Guitar Hero, and so because I was a huge Guitar Hero fan, I don't even want to admit that because I'm such a loser fucking
But
thing.
no,
to say,
dude, I
but
remember you were
have-
really good at it.
I was really good at it.
You have seen that though, where it's like,
Yeah,
it
that
would plug into the
yeah,
Game Boy.
and that's
crazy.
So
dude.
that I just have the cartridge, so I can't even.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, how much can that Guitar Hero attachment be?
Dude, it probably, I don't know, $5-10 maybe
if someone's
on
selling
eBay.
it.
That's the thing. Can you only buy the accessory?
99 cents on fucking
Oh my gosh.
buy it now.
GameStop.com, but it is
Dude, it's pre-owned. Dude, these videos that they did, Guitar Hero on Tour, I watched the demo videos. They are amazing. They are so lame.
I don't want any part of that. $10, $6, $13. Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's very much money.
So
to
that
get
was a used copy in box on GameStop or wherever it was.
pre-owned, 99 cents, add to
Wow.
cart, free store pickup.
Free store pickup.
Yeah,
I'm going into Culpeper to pick it up. No, but yeah, that would be a cool accessory because
Oh.
it's so bizarre.
does this come with the handpiece? No, it does not.
Nope. So it's cartridge only. Which is exactly what I have.
Which doesn't do you any fucking good.
Yeah, no good. So we have a weird little item behind the computer. Do you want to dive into that?
Sean's looking like he has no idea what he's talking about.
Fine, fuck it. Yeah. Sorry, I
Okay.
had no idea what you're talking about.
So
How about you guys eat that, and then I can get into my next
yes, that would be great. So I'm showing.
while you are in pain, ideally.
Where's the good?
Can y'all see that? Look in the monitor.
Look in the monitor. So I was at Second and Charles, which is the used book and used video game store in Woodbridge. And you know how like when you check out, they like try and like upsell you on like, oh, candy and Gatorade and
Yeah.
you know like like the Simpsons Duff gum or something, you know, something weird like that. They had the chocolate bar from hell. And me and Sean are kind of like hot sauce, and Steve sometimes aficionados, like not aficionados, like we like to try them.
I like to try. I just don't like when it's hot as fuck and gives me pain. So
Milk chocolate, sunflower lecithin, pure vanilla, and habanero. Habanero's not that hot.
Yeah. I mean, they can be, but it's not no fucking Carolina Reaper.
It depends on how hot this is. I have like half a cup of water. He's got like, quarter to, the glass is half full of beer. And yeah, we'll see how it is.
I mean, it's not going to be no one chip challenge, man. I did that at work.
Oh, you did? Dude, I want to try it. Is
It's-
it horrible?
It's like So it was really hot. It was really spicy. But the worst part,
It smells like whole cheese.
the worst, the worst part was these like waves of stomach pain that came afterwards.
Oh, really?
Was that when you worked with Matt?
No, I did this at my
okay.
my new job, and so I ate it. And it was really hot. I lasted like 20 minutes before I was like, okay, I should probably like drink something.
It smells just like Hershey's. Doesn't smell hot at all.
Yeah. So the guy bought 2 of them, and he was like, "I'm gonna eat one, but I have no one else to eat it with." So I ate one, and it was like 20 minutes of like pretty intense mouth pain before I was like, I should maybe drink some water or something.
Yeah.
And then I was like, fine, and then it hit my stomach, and it was literally like, I've never felt anything like it in my life. Waves of this like intense, almost like gripping of my stomach. Pain.
Really?
And I honestly felt like I was gonna throw up. I started sweating. Like,
Was your mouth still burning?
no, like it had already gone. Like I was like, okay, it's over. And now, like 40 minutes later, it hit my stomach, and it was just like this intense wave of pain where I was sweating. I felt like
Wow.
shit. I thought I was gonna throw up. I was like, I can't throw up because then it's gonna fucking burn.
Oh, yeah.
So
In your nose,
yeah,
your
No,
throat.
Awesome. Love it.
didn't throw up, but yeah, the next day was not great. So we'll leave it at that.
Okay, let's try this. The bar says something. It's called Serrata. I don't. That's weird. Is this-
Look at the
I
monitor.
wonder if it's the, actual.
look at the monitor. No,
brand.
it's but it's not on the packaging. Okay. How much do you want to eat? Do you want to start small?
I don't want to eat. I don't think I can eat half of it.
No,
I mean,
yeah.
I guess let's just fuck it, dude. Split it in
Dude,
half.
let's fuck it, dude.
Serrata Candy Company.
All right,
So-
actually, I'll give you the smaller piece. I'm just gonna take like a medium-sized bite.
I'm gonna eat the whole thing.
right now.
I'm gonna put the whole thing in my mouth.
Let's start. Let's just take a bite.
I'm not gonna do that.
You're gonna do the whole thing.
I'm just gonna eat the whole thing.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna eat it in bites, but I'll eat the whole thing
about the size of my
Of
small
your-
vape.
of your Yule. All right, here we go.
All right, so while you guys enjoy that while you're chewing, I'll get to the next thing, and you guys can fill me in as the pain comes. So,
There's heat.
all right, I guess I got a YouTube recommendation, but also one video specifically I kind of want to talk about. There's this guy on YouTube, Rasputin, and watched some of his videos before.
He
Sean saw a
can't be
couple.
killed.
He can't be killed, but he had some good stuff. The first one I found was him getting his wife to play video games as someone who doesn't game, and it's interesting to see that. So I started following him, and he had a recent video he put up yesterday called "Completing Games and Why I Barely Do It." No,
No,
Not
go
hot?
ahead. Go, no.
I'm just saying
me.
not heat.
Not yet, but go ahead.
All right.
I feel okay.
He's mostly talking about like 100% in games, not just beating them, which I have trouble completing games in general. But he went on this whole thing talking about achievements and trophies in Xbox and Sony, how they got that going, and how sometimes it's ridiculous. You look at the achievement list and it's like, collect all these items, which for some games it's whatever. Maybe it's as you go. You come across some hard to miss type things, but he kind of got into how it can become a chore, especially when you play a game and you look back at the list and it's like, oh, now I just go out of my way to play these small segments of the game just to do these little checklist options, right? When they're not organic to the game, it feels a little bit more tedious. And really the only times he and myself have ever found like going through to actually 100% a game is when you just like the game so much that you just want to replay it and get everything you can out of it, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like I pretty much never look at the trophy list or anything. I only have 2 platinums on PlayStation, I think. Bloodborne being one of them, which you just have to do basically everything in the game.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I wanted to ask you guys, like, pretty much how you feel about that. What was the last game you even remember 100% completing? Because I
Oh boy.
almost never even do that. And I found even recently playing Ghost of Tsushima last year, I was really enjoying the game, had a great time. I'm going through, doing everything as I come across it. But I got to a certain point where I'm like, I kind of want to play another game, not because I'm not having fun with this, but I feel like there's just so much and I just beat it and then never played it again.
So I'll just say that I really fucking hate trying to 100% any game.
Well, I want to update. I don't feel a fucking thing. This is
Yeah.
barely hot.
I mean, I was expecting this to be a little worse than it was. There's
Chocolate
a
bar
little,
not from hell.
there's
Dude,
a little,
that's
there's
chocolate bar from heaven, dude.
No.
there's a little tingle on my tongue, but I'm
Yeah,
not like.
honestly, I enjoyed it. I was not.
It tasted like chocolate, and then afterwards it was like, no,
It
there's a little bit of
there's
spice
a touch,
there.
little warm.
Like the chocolate made me thirsty. I don't feel spice. I don't feel like the Spice Lord.
Well, it's
We need
not-
the one chip challenge.
Not intended for. No, dude, you do not want to do that. Honestly, worst fucking decision of my life.
Okay, maybe. not.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so I think probably if you're talking about 100%ing a game, I don't know that I've ever done that, but I do remember Oblivion was the first time I was like, I want to get every achievement.
Which you basically just had to do all the quests, like all the main quests for that.
So, but I got really pissed off for Xbox because there's 2 achievements. One is in the Shivering Isles, you take the left path. The other one, you take the right path. I don't remember. Light and dark path, whatever. And so I went through and I didn't make a save before I made that choice. And I went all the way through the left path. And then I fucking found out you have to do
You
both
have
of
to do
them to
both,
get
yeah.
all of the achievements. So I was like, fuck this. And I mean, I ended up getting it anyway, but I was really pissed off about that. And
Yeah.
like that
Yeah.
put a bad taste in my mouth about 100%ing any game. Like, and that was years ago, dude. That was on fucking Xbox 360.
Yeah, well, I think the 360 era was like really, like especially with the achievements. I don't know exactly, but I feel like that was the first time that achievements were, like cataloged.
Yeah, I don't know that the base Xbox.
I don't
had
think it
that.
did.
I don't think it did. So
It was, I mean, when I think of achievements and I think of 100%ing and I think of just Xbox, I think of the skulls from Halo 3.
Yeah.
Like that was like those were videos that I'd watch a lot.
Yeah.
Like I still remember by heart where the one skull is, I think from the first level. Like you jump off the bridge and then you jump over this rock and it's behind the cave, you know. And but as far as 100%ing, I was never really like a completionist. I was always a like do the main story, do some side quests. Like Skyrim, I probably got closest, but
So I think that, well, just to backtrack a little bit, I think achievements were announced with Xbox Live.
okay,
So
okay.
I don't think any of us owned an original Xbox when.
No.
Yeah.
just had friends.
Yeah, so Xbox Live came out with achievements, and then I think it was just rolled into 360.
Yeah,
Maybe Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. I mean, I feel like I beat that game and did everything I could do because I liked that game so much. I'm sure there's something I missed, but that would be one of the only games I can think that I played all the way through entirely. Actually, Pokemon Red would be another one. 151 Pokemon caught in that game.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah. Oh, dude. See that? Even that, like that
was
takes
when I was
so much time.
I was so young when I
yeah,
like
dude.
that
That
was
takes a ton of time.
the only game I had that I was like,
Well,
I can go back to this every day.
That
Yeah.
is one thing I was going to say is that when I was younger, I still had a problem with beating games in general, but
Yeah.
mostly because if a game was trash, like I'd just go and play Oblivion for another 100 hours or whatever, right? Like it wasn't like I don't know. I knew some kids that I was friends with that would just whatever game they got, they would just play that to death and then move on to the next game, play it to death, and occasionally go back to favorites. But I feel like there was always games like Tactics or Oblivion that Sean and I would play so much that if I got a game I didn't like, I'd play it for however long until I realized it sucked and then move on. But definitely 100% in games back then was more like, you know, I would just have Tactics with me all the time. And when
Yeah.
I got bored of whatever else, I'd plug it in and then spend some more hours doing that. But now I can buy whatever game because I have money of my own, disposable income, you
Yeah.
know, and I just don't want to take the time to do it unless the game is that awesome.
It's true.
And that hardly comes up. Like there are definitely games I wish I would, but you know, I keep buying new games and I'm like, okay, well, I'll just beat this like Ghost of Tsushima. I probably would go and do some more, but I just got to a point where I said, all right, I've spent like 40 hours in this game. I've beaten it. I've done most everything. I'm not going to run around trying to just, free the last few camps or whatever.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it's tough because with like the video game designers try to have all this, content that they want people to go play. And I want to say it's only something like 30% of people even beat games in the first place. Like you go and look at achievement or trophy lists, at least for PlayStation, it'll show you like what percent of people have this trophy that have played the game, and normally the one to like beat the game is very low. So these game designers put in a lot of work and effort in to try to make it so that there's a lot of stuff, but I feel like sometimes it's overblown. And just one more point about the video that Rasputin did. The good game design sometimes makes it where they don't even intend for you to do everything. So something like Breath of the Wild he brought up, which everybody loves, right?
Oh yeah,
I haven't played it, but
except for you,
yeah.
dude. Why have
we'll,
you not played it?
We'll talk about that for another day. But
well, okay, we'll talk about it after you make this point.
Right, so, but basically, he was talking about so the Korok seeds, right? 999 of them, or 900. How many are there?
There's a shit ton.
So he's like, well, the point of that was no matter where you go, they want you to come across them, have these moments, but also you need them for progression, right?
Yeah.
So they don't want it where there's only 100 and you need to find all 100 on that huge map if you want to get, everything. And they even made it obvious that, well, maybe not obvious, but there's literally no point in getting 900. You get golden shit, right?
Yeah.
So it's funny.
Yeah.
That
What is the point of getting all the Korok?
It's just to say you did it. Like, I mean, that you literally get a golden piece of shit if you do that in the game. Like, to me, like I think that mentality comes from old video games where there was no updates, there was no DLC, there was no anything else. Like, look at Banjo-Kazooie. Like, getting every Jiggy isn't necessary to beat the game, right? Like, you only need a certain amount.
I think you need 72 or 70.
And same thing with Mario. You only need a certain amount of stars to beat the game, but there's 120 stars in the game.
Yeah.
And so to me, it's like, I've never done that in Mario. I've played that game how many times now? I bought the All-Stars.
Multiple copies.
I mean, I've emulated. I got really pissed off when my GPD broke and I had to send it back to China because
you were 100%.
Well, no, I mean, I wasn't even 100%ing that game, but I got like 60 stars and like
restart.
Yeah, basically, I had to start over.
Sucks.
So, the frustrating part to me is like I think that mentality comes from old games of like it's a collect-a-thon, right? Like,
yeah.
And so,
well, it definitely was to give you enough stuff to do. Like Mario would have been lame if there was 60 stars and you had to just get those. And
well, I want to say something about that because 3D All-Stars was the first time I played that game, Super Mario 64, and I feel like they put that many in for two reasons. One, the reason that you're saying, more stuff to do. You feel like you've done more when you get them all, or when you get more than the allotted amount or the necessary amount. But the second reason I think is because some of them are pretty difficult.
Yeah, and you could just move on.
And so you can say, you know what, I can't get that one. I'm going to go to this other world where I can get a few more. And then because I had to ask you guys, I was like, how do you get the Chain Chomp one? Because I tried to do what you told me to do and I messed it up and I couldn't figure it out. But because I didn't know it, I moved on and I went to a different world. And so I think that was, especially with the Jiggies as well. They're giving you enough leeway if you're like, dude, I don't want to get that one. This one's really hard, or I can't get it. And I think they're building in to make it a little easier.
Yeah, no, that's true as well. But that's a little bit different than definitely like achievements. That's a whole other thing that I feel like none of us really care about. So we don't have too many good points to be made about why you would go for it unless you just like the game. But yeah. Definitely collectathons like Mario Odyssey. I don't know that you've gotten it. Neither of you have played it yet, right?
I have not played it yet, but I keep staring at it every time because I got Outer Worlds and I started playing that.
Dude,
and I'm
no worries.
Gotta play it.
I'm just saying. So that game, there's a shit ton of moons. There's no stars, quote unquote, but the moons are the same. But there's a lot. Sometimes you get them for just dumb stuff, and there'll be a shop where you can buy one in this world and whatever. So There's a ton of them, but
Do you know how many there are in total?
I forget because you can get 999, but
Oh, there's that many?
no. So that's part of the thing is that you can buy them from shops, and I want to say there's a certain amount, and then you can go up to 999 by just
Okay.
purchasing them with coins. And there is a lot though. There's hundreds, right? So, but like I said, sometimes you'll find one. I would just be walking around a ground pound a spot, and it's like, here's a moon, and
Oh, okay.
you're like, okay, I just
They're
saw
hidden.
a bump on the ground, but in that game, you don't get kicked from the world when you get a star or whatever. So,
Which I might have already said this, but I dislike on Mario
Well,
64.
I will say sometimes, with 64 and Sunshine and probably some with Galaxy, but that's a little bit different where the levels change when you go in there. And
Yes.
it's set up for that star. And it is annoying, but that's how it is.
Do you think that was because of the performance of the N64?
I don't know. I mean, I feel
That
like
they didn't
could've-
load in every
well,
possible star?
I don't think it was like that. I just think that the ideas they had for the stuff you would run into, they didn't want you to come to this map and then there's like just 6-7 areas you need to get the stars
Yeah.
because they had to reuse the map, so they had to change things slightly and
Yeah.
prolong, because if you just had to
I mean, there were certain stars you couldn't get unless you had gotten the star preceding it, so that
First level, you can't get the race star
yeah, exactly.
until you get the first one.
Right. So I think that exactly what you said. They have to change parts of the map to, accommodate for that next.
because they could have had it where you do the first star and then okay, now Koopa shows up and you can go and they change the map so that now you can go do it, but it's just, I mean, I think it was just a way for them to kind of reuse the assets and get more time out of the same stuff. But,
Yeah. Well, with that said, I need to know why you're not playing fucking Breath of the Wild.
All right.
I know this could be its own episode, but I want to know now because it's going to haunt me. Because
we've
in my
talked about it.
opinion, it is one of the best games ever made. I feel that way. I think it's at least top 3 for me.
I don't
might be
I don't
third.
I don't argue against that at all. First off, like I understand it's a great game. For one, I never was like that into Zelda. I've played a handful of them and only beaten a couple, whatever. So when Breath of the Wild was coming out, I didn't really keep up with it.
Yeah.
Knew someone in college that had it. I watched him play a bit, and then when I graduated and moved back home, I watched Sean play it for weeks. Basically, I mean that wasn't like the only thing, but that was the only game out, and
Yep. You're
so
right.
he was just playing that all the time, and it looks cool. But for one, I've kind of tried to get. I don't know. I have a love-hate relationship with open world games right now, where
Yeah.
I don't want to spend 100 hours just wandering around doing whatever the fuck when I could be going and beating a couple of the other games I own. And I just kind of felt that way about it, where I knew I was going to end up spending a ton of time. And I'm not saying I didn't play it because I was scared to just play it too much.
No, yeah,
but
yeah.
I just thought, I'll play other games instead. And honestly, I do feel like I get that this is just an overused criticism, but the weapon system kind of pisses me off. I don't like games where weapons break. And
I agree. I completely
yeah.
agree, and I put a lot of hours into it. And that was one of the things I said to Sean is I really don't like that my weapons are breaking.
And I understand the point of it for sure. Is they want you to keep moving, and if you
Find
just
new
found a good
weapons.
weapon and you never had to use anything else, I understand that. But I just feel like that sucks when you beat a Lionel, you get his weapon, and you're like, cool. How many times am I going to be able to use this until it breaks?
Honestly, 2 or 3 fights maybe.
And I understand, Sean. I do get it. I just feel like that bothers me. I don't like that in games at all. I've never enjoyed that because I feel like it's not special. And the way I play games, I hoard items. I know I would have like just 10 of the strongest weapon, and I'd be using a fucking stick to fight enemies just so that I didn't have to use up my good weapons, because what if I need it later?
I feel you, dude. I kind of agree. I think that is kind of a shitty part of the game. And like, I'm trying to find a thing on the soundboard here that I know that Sean is going to say. I'm trying to find it here. Give me 1 second. Where is that? Oh, I added this.
My name is Jeff.
I added that. I completely forgot.
Well, find it.
God damn it.
Give you a couple more seconds there, and then I will let
Oh,
like to
here it
let
is.
Sean
This
respond.
this is what Sean's gonna say.
I mean, I think that it definitely adds a little bit of complexity to the game. Like, yes, you can get a fucking sick weapon in every game, and then you run through the rest of the game with that awesome weapon. Whereas, like, I feel like it was a little bit more of an inventory management type thing. You had to,
Yeah, it's
you had to be like,
prioritize.
let me, I'm going up against a Lionel. Let me use this nice weapon. Whereas I'm just fighting a couple of fucking
Hobgoblins.
Yeah,
the Green Goblin, and you're not gonna,
You're fighting Willem Dafoe.
yeah, you come up against Willem, and he's like, all right,
Well-
it's not gonna hurt me, And anyway, I loved that game. I haven't played it in a couple years now. I don't even own my copy anymore because it was stolen from me
It was stolen?
by Danielle.
by Daniel.
Oh, I was like, yo, someone stole your
It's
shit.
very very
Yeah.
cryptic.
Let me ask you this
Well, okay.
really quickly. Having not played the game but seen it played and heard a ton about it, do you think it's a good game?
Yeah, no. When I started this, I said I don't argue with the fact that it's probably one of the best games.
Okay.
I don't know, man.
And it's
That's-
I'm not saying that like, do you think it? I'm
No, I
saying
know.
like, do you
Yeah,
do you hate it or do you
looks
like
good.
it?
I will say just two things. I don't want to make this long, but I
Take your
understand.
time, brother.
I understand weapons breaking, durability, and stuff. Some games do it well. I'm not saying it did it poorly, but I feel like something like Fire Emblem is a tactical strategy game where you have a certain amount of uses for, say, a sword that does critical hits, like pretty much guaranteed, right? So
Yeah.
you only use that against certain enemies that are hard. You want to make sure you do high damage. So I get it's the same idea, but for an action game, like I really don't want to be running around and be like, oh no, now my weapon's about to break when I'm fighting this boss. So kind of bothered me. And then the other real, I guess, two criticisms that I have that not really saying that makes the game bad, but just why I didn't want to play it. I get the point is go do whatever you want, but I don't really like that. I wish there was more because there's not even really like, finding quests and stuff in the same way that like a JRPG or open world RPG would, where you get all these markers. I mean, what is your goal basically? To go around, you fight the divine beasts, get as many of the shrines as you can, get the master sword, fight Ganon. And I just feel like when I'm directionless, I get lost and, don't really know what I want to do anymore. And I felt like I would play for a while and then be like, well, I don't know. And I'd put the game down. And you guys can hate me for this one, but watching you play it a lot, I feel like it is pretty empty. And I understand there's a lot of stuff to do, but a lot of the time I watch you play, you're just walking around on the map till you find a shrine, which sometimes takes a little while, sometimes doesn't.
Yeah.
And then you just walk around a little more, maybe fight some boblins or whatever.
It's true.
And it just seemed,
You say boblins?
yeah, I don't know what they're called.
Are they
Yeah,
are they
No,
hobgoblins?
They're called, fuck, dude.
Here's what I'll say. I would be happier. I would say it's one of the best bokoblins. Yeah, one of the best games of all time. If there was an option in the game to extend the life of your weapons based on the difficulty, or you could pick like I want them to be like almost like like they break really easily. Like medium level and hot, like they last for a long time. I think that would be great because I would love to use like this crazy sword or this crazy axe or whatever for like longer than 20 minutes.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, look, I get I get why they did it.
That's my
100%,
only
but
qualm though.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how you fix that because then it's like, well, if you find one weapon and you do it right, it might never, you may never have issues.
All right, so I mean, I feel like we've been talking a lot about the games that we are not playing, Steve.
Thanks for saving me. We're probably gonna lose all of our fans. from me
They're all
talking
gone,
about that.
Yeah. But the games that I have been playing, one of which
literally
is
right now.
one I'm playing right now, Tactics Ogre. I never played this game for Game Boy Advance, but I did figure out that with a Chromebook, they have the Play Store, so you can install apps that you own or from the Play Store. So I installed John GBA, which is an emulator for Game Boy Advance. But the reason I like John GBA title or apps or John's emulators are because he did create a game like a Dropbox sync app,
Oh, that's cool.
which is pretty seamless. I mean, I know Steve, you've talked about Drive Sync.
That's just for anything. You just click folders and back them up. But yeah,
I mean, he made it so that like he knows like you basically install both the apps and it syncs them to your Dropbox, and then no matter what device you're playing on, it's going to pull the most recent copy. But I mean, Tactics Ogre, I loved Final Fantasy Tactics Advance, so I was like, I'll try this, and it's very similar. Definitely not the same franchise like Steve said, but it's a fun game so far. The other game I've been playing,
It looks great on that screen.
well, dude, what's crazy to me is that
It looks like full res.
It's crazy because the Chromebook is emulating Android apps, right?
Yeah.
And then I'm emulating Game Boy Advance on top of that. So I would think that this would probably run like shit.
Yeah.
But the only thing that I've noticed is that the game, every once in a while, the audio will skip like every 2 minutes. But most of the time I play it at 2 speed, like two
it's
times
probably
speed
just
anyway.
the emulator in general, because there's some games that have.
It doesn't do it on the
Your phone?
GPD XD I have.
Okay.
So I think it is it running on the Chromebook is causing the audio to skip, but most of the time I play it at 2 times speed anyway. So I mute the audio because it sounds like shit when you
Yeah.
I don't
speed
know.
it up twice.
I don't.
What are you playing right now, Steve?
Oh, is that? I mean, you got more to say? Or?
I was just
Oh,
gonna say that I also
sorry.
was playing. I downloaded for free from Epic Game Store, Battlefront 2, which I know you had.
Oh, did you play it?
I just beat the campaign last night, which was only like 5 hours. Online is pretty fun. I've got some qualms with it. Like the one I joined today lasted like fucking 40 minutes. They were really long fucking online.
Why is
battles.
Why is it so long? Is
I mean,
it
it's
to a certain
40 people in.
I thought the regular like Battlefield games aren't those matches long? I never played Battlefield, but it's the same dice made both, right? So
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like, so it was like, okay, King of the Hill, basically, get these zones, you capture the zones, you go and get the one that's being captured by the enemy, and then it'll be like, okay, well now all of the enemies boarding a ship, you have to follow them and destroy whatever they're trying to protect. And so like we failed at that, so we went back to capture the zones, and then we were defending something and they failed at that. And so it's like on top of the King of the Hill type aspect, there's also like a defend this for 6 minutes.
Dude, that is long. That is really long.
I mean, dude, I swear to God, it was like fucking half an hour of my life.
I don't get that.
Way too fucking long.
Like, I mean, it was. I definitely had a good time. Like, I didn't feel like it was. I mean, it was repetitive. Don't get me wrong. Like, it was the same exact mission twice that we did essentially, until somebody won. And in the chat, they were like, "Please, just fucking let us win, or like, just die so we can fucking end this match."
Yeah.
Somebody said that, and I was like, "Oh my God, I didn't realize that it was actually been this long."
You'd think that there would be some sort of like draw or like out.
I don't know. That's the only matchmaking game I played was I don't remember what it's called, but it's basically the 40-player.
It means their matchmaking is really fucking good because you guys were dead even for
Well, yeah,
40 minutes.
It was pretty. It was. I mean, I really enjoyed it. I will definitely try it again. I will try some of the other game modes they have, but that's the first one that shows up when you click on multiplayer. And
how does it look
fun.
on your screen? I feel like, dude, those games are beautiful.
It looks really good. I had a bit of a problem initially because I didn't remember that my monitor was set to 144 hertz. I set the game to 120 hertz with 120 frames per second maximum, and the load times were like fucking 2 minutes long, like stupid long.
2 minutes. Wow, I've got like 40
No,
minutes.
I mean, it
on
was
fucking
like
Switch.
It was like click the icon, it would open up, and then it would be like 2 minutes before I'd even get to the main menu. Not even like loading into a map. There was a time where I did try and restart my mission because I died, and it was 5 minutes before I closed the game, started over. But I forgot that I had set my fucking monitor to 144 hertz, and I changed it in the game, and so far I've had no problems. But
Those games are beautiful.
it looks
blown
great.
away.
I
They
can
are.
play it at ultra with between 120 and 144 frames per second. So
Yeah.
most of the time I don't even notice when it dips because it's already over what your eye can see. So
Yeah, no, exactly.
all right, well that's enough about what I've been playing.
That's enough.
I'm done.
All right, I've got a lot going on, but mostly been trying to beat Nier Automata, which is a great game. I'm been sleeping on that, but I've been working on that for a while. Beat one path. I'm still going, but recently, me and my friend Matt played through Warhammer Chaos Bane, which is like a Diablo type game, Warhammer universe, obviously. It was not that good. We played through. If I bought that myself and was trying to play solo, I probably would have been pissed. But it was. We got it on Humble Bundle or Humble Choice, whatever, their monthly thing. It was fun, but we put it on very hard when we were doing, like, normal mode was too easy. And I don't know, about an hour after we got, like, in Diablo and games like it, when you increase difficulty, you get better loot to try to balance it.
Yeah.
We were just destroying everything. The last boss of the, I guess, base game took us, like, 30 seconds to kill, and...
Wow.
It
So
was-
so the leveling was trash.
Yeah, that and the way, like, I liked kind of how the skills worked in it, where you didn't have to, like, unlock skills. They just all unlocked as you leveled. Then you could mix and match, basically. You had a certain amount of points and skills cost a certain amount, right? But the gear system was weird, where I felt like we got a lot of trash gear. There was no shop to, like, buy stuff or sell. There was just a place where you could donate the gear you didn't want, and then you would unlock skins for your character, which was, like, super fucking weird. Like,
Yeah.
it just didn't make sense. Gold was basically useless except to revive, or we saw, like, there's dungeons and stuff you can pay money to go. I'm guessing it's like a randomly generated quest thing, but it was just weird. We beat it, and we're like, okay, let's move on. So we just started another game that was free on Epic, Remnant from the Ashes, which I guess the pitch is it's like Dark Souls with guns. And
Oh yeah, you said that. I've
It-
heard you talk about that.
yeah, it's pretty cool. I only played a couple hours yesterday, but we'll probably play more soon. It's good so far. I like it. I like the gunplay. I like Dark Souls. It's not very Dark Soulsy. It has a stamina bar, and you can roll, and that's what everyone says Dark Souls is. But and the last thing I'll mention, because there's a lot of games going on, is him and some of our friends got me a list of games I should play. Being born in '95, I guess I missed out on a lot of cool computer games. So first one I started off the list is Space Quest 4. Apparently it's the best of the Space Quest games. Point and click adventure, never really played any of those. It's cool, but it's weird, man. The old point and click games, like, it's slow
Oh,
and I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing, really. Like, there's no, like, hey, go do this, at least for this game. And it's interesting. Space Quest, he pitched it to me in the way that the comedy and stuff is going so far. It seems accurate. It's kind of like Spaceballs, where it's like a parody of, like, not Star Wars specifically, but parody of those sci-fi things, where it's not taken seriously. Like, beginning of the game, I get random guys come, and after I'm about to get killed or whatever, and they're like, oh, jump through this time portal. We don't have time to explain, go. So I go in, and then the narrator tells me, if you look at the top of the screen, which is like the status, it always tells you, like, what chapter you're in, I guess.
Yeah.
He's like, if you look there, it says you're in Space Quest 12, Revenge of whoever. And so I time traveled to the time period of when, quote unquote, Space Quest 12 would be. And then I got through that, went back to Space Quest 10. Like, it's this weird adventure.
Dude, it sounds quippy. And
It's
fun.
yeah, it is. It's funny. It's, like I said, it's parody-ish, but I don't know what's going on. The only thing I do want to say about it is crazy what they did with pixel art back then. And a lot of it's like static images, but whenever they have a small cutscene of, like, people talking or whatever, like, the detail in it's pretty crazy for the
time,
technology
yeah.
they had. So that's really cool to see.
Dude, FMV.
Yeah, right. But
Well, dude, I'm gonna go play some True Swing Golf. You're
Yeah.
gonna go game with some other nerds.
I'm about to go play some God Eater 3.
and
another
Sean's
game.
gonna try and find the owner of this
I'm gonna
cat.
try and find the cat. Just to update, I've gotten 97 shares, dude. This is the most viral post I've ever made on the
this
internet.
joint blowed
Dude,
up.
Yeah, dude.
It's
Check out
wild.
my SoundCloud. Listen to my podcast. Yeah, I'm gonna assume you've already listened to it if you're at this point in the podcast.
Yerp.
And if that's the case, thanks for listening.
Yes. But
Yeah.
also check out my SoundCloud.
Yes, for sure. Check that out. Get us out of here, Steve, so you can go play.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, guys. We'll be back next week with some more fun. And follow us on Instagram. Check out the YouTube video if you're an audio listener. And yeah, catch you next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Debuff is hosted by me, Steve Skeels, edited and mixed by Mason Carlton. Follow us on Instagram at DebuffPod. That's Debuff, P-O-D. Thanks for listening. I'll see you in the next one.